This is the second video on the PREM DIV workspace. And we're going to be focusing right now on chart number 2 that has the ES in subgraph 1 and the premium in subgraph 2. This video is entitled Custom Session Times. Data number 1, the ES, opens and closes at different times than the premium. For example, the ES has been running from 1600 hours on the previous evening through to the open of the New York Stock Exchange and on into the close of the next day at 1600 hours. It opens at 1700 hours, pardon me. But the premium doesn't do that. Okay. The premium is linked to the Chicago Exchange, but it opens and closes with the New York Stock Exchange. So they're on two different time frames as far as the open and the close. And there's some aspects to the open and the close of the premium that you really need to understand if you want your indicators to plot properly. Now I'm going to change the appearance of the of the premium. And we're going to show you what it looks like if we don't do something to correct it. We're just going to use the regular session and notice the impact. So when we let the data feeds propagate using the regular session, we have some problems. Now here's the open. I'm going to take away this so that you can see it. The premium is the difference between the S&P cash index and the S&P futures. And because of that, the calculation of the first few bars may not be accurate, because keeping in mind that you're looking at 500 stocks that have to open. They don't open all at the same time. So the premium is not going to be accurate in the first few bars. And as you can see, the first bar is a great big spike. It's meaningless. The data is incorrect, and therefore it can throw off the plotting of the premium due to the fact that the 500 stocks on the cash side have not all opened yet. So if you're putting an indicator, if you're plotting an indicator on a bar that's spurious, it's going to throw off the results of the indicator. And we don't want it. We don't want that. So we have to eliminate the first few bars to prevent that from happening. We're going to show you how to do that. At the end of the day, you've got the same problem. Okay. Now, at the end of the day, when the New York Stock Exchange closes, which is right here, TradeStation continues to propagate the premium for another 15 minutes. But it's only propagating the premium based on the futures and not the cash. So there's no correct calculation of the premium in the last 15 minutes. That's why we see the pattern of the premium now looks identical to the cash side, pardon me, to the future side, because the cash side is no longer in existence. So in reality, you can't use the premium for making any kind of trading decision before the first few minutes of the day, and certainly not beyond the close of the New York Stock Exchange. To get rid of that data, we have to create what is known as a custom session time. And the way you create this is all dependent upon the clock that you use on your computer and whether or not it's set to local time or Central Standard Time or the exchanges. Now, since many of you use Central Time, I'm going to change my clock to Central Time to show you how to do this on your computer. So here are the steps that we want to take in order to do this. We're primarily concerned with the premium. We're not really concerned with the ES. Since our indicators are plotting the ES, and because the ES is running in anticipation of the open of the NYSE, your indicators should go ahead and continue to plot the ES in real time and not using a custom session time. But that's not the case with the premium, because we have these aberrant bars due to the failure of well, not the failure, but the inability of all stocks to open at the same time. So here's what we do to create a custom session time. Right-click on the screen, go to Data, Edit Symbol, and choose, in this case, Data 2 for the premium. And we go to Customize, and we go to Properties. Here you have Sessions. It's by default set to regular session. So now we're going to create a custom session time. So we click here to use custom session time. We're now going to create one, and we're going to call it whatever we want. I'll call it Central Time. Next thing we do is we go here to Add, and we have to enter the session time again, Central Time. We pick the first day, which is Monday. We pick the time. Okay, this will be 8:31. 8:31. So we don't want it to open exactly at 8:30 due to the problems that we've already described. So I'm going to set it to 8:31. There may be a need to adjust this to a time even later than that if you begin to see more aberrant data coming in later after the opening bell. Set this to AM, then go to end of day. Set this to 3 p.m. on the money. Next thing, use this session as the end of trading day marker. Click OK, then add Monday through Friday, and now that's going to be repeated through the rest of the week. Hit OK, OK again, and this changes to Central Time. Now when I hit OK and I close this, notice that that bar will disappear. I'll take it back to the beginning. Okay. So now that data has disappeared. And that's just the way we wanted it. Now, at the end of the day, the ES will continue to propagate, but the premium stops as it should. So you're going to want to, the workspace will already be defaulted to central time. You're going to want to create that custom session time on your own. And then once you have it, and you can always apply it accordingly. So now keeping in mind that you also had this information in chart number 1, you're going to want to go and verify, well, not so much verify, but you want to add this